Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivots. So this week's episode was finally back in full sail. We're going to get a new set of tapings as we start building towards NXT TakeOver San Antonio. The main event of tonight was the Revival vs. DIY for the tag team titles. The winning team will face the Authors of Pain at TakeOver. They showed Asuka arriving to the building. She was stopped on her way to the arena by Billie Kay, who was already in her ring gear. They talked for a little bit, and Peyton and Royce attacked her from behind. The two women started beating up on Asuka behind a production truck, and they spilled like a bottle or a cup of water on her as they walked away. That led to the first match of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce versus Macy Evans and Sarah Bridges. Obviously, the two heels were in control for most of the match. Sarah Bridges got the hot tag, but it didn't last long as Billie Kay raked her eyes, and Peyton won with her bulldog across Billie Kay's knee. Pretty boring match. They're trying to get the two heels over, trying to get heat on them, but the crowd's just really not that interested. As I said last week, they pretty much have go-away heat. The crowd really don't want to hear from them, considering they booed them throughout this whole promo after the match. They said that they are the most dominant force in the women's division, and Asuka's title belongs to them. Asuka then stumbled to the ring. She went to attack both of them, but the heels got the better of her with the numbers advantage. Nikki Cross then ran out and made the save. She chased Billie Kay and Peyton Royce out of the ring. Asuka made it to her feet and wanted to go after Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, but was cut short as Nikki landed a huge flying knee off the ropes. I do appreciate that Asuka was trying to defend herself and show that she's not going to back down from these two. It shows that she's a fighting champion. The Nikki save was a little interesting considering she hasn't shown to be a babyface, but then when she turned on Asuka and hit her with the knee, it all made sense. She's crazy, she's going to attack everyone. Makes sense that she's a part of Sanity. Speaking of them, they were shown walking backstage. Nikki said that she's going to take the NXT Women's Championship, and when they walked away, Damo was hiding in the shadows in the background. Second match was Elias Samson versus Jonathan Cruz. Pretty much a squash match. Samson was no selling in the early parts. Cruz got some offense in. He took him down, but Samson landed a huge clothesline from behind. He then laid him out with a big boot and won with his neck breaker. Obvious winner. Samson's been winning pretty much since he returned from injury. But the crowd, just like with the two women, they are shitting all over him. He looks good in the ring. He's got a good physique. His finisher is pretty cool, but the gimmick is horrible. The drifter, I don't even know what that means. He sucks at singing. He's playing the same 3 or 4 chords on guitar, and the crowd chanting "drift away" at him is not helping matters at all. Building up to the main event, we got highlights of the Revival vs. DIY match from Brooklyn. I was there live. Great match. These two teams they're amazing. Third match was a rematch from the Australia show, Andrade and Almas versus Oney Lorcan. Almas rested. He did his thing in between the ropes, but Lorcan took him out with a dropkick to the outside. He then landed a blockbuster from the steel steps. Almas, sick of getting all the offense, he did some offense on his own. He was slapping Lorcan a couple times. He landed a nice dropkick off the ropes, but somehow landed on top of Lorcan for a pin. So I'm pretty sure someone botched their landing because you don't land on top of your opponent after a dropkick. Lorcan did go for another blockbuster, but Almas ducked. Lorcan drove Almas into the corner with a spinebuster, but Almas was holding onto the ropes, trying to create some separation. The ref prevented Lorcan from attacking. This gave Almas the opportunity to drop kick Lorcan's knee and landed a hammerlock DDT to get the win. A very fun match. I liked it a lot. Very hard hitting. These two went at it pretty stiff. Lorcan was obviously going to lose his match. Almas was going to get his win back from Australia. Finisher's pretty sick. I do like the hammerlock aspect of the DDT. Pins the one opponent's arm behind him. Can't brace for impact, as the move would have you believe. Almas is a great heel. I like him a lot. He's got that cocky attitude, but I don't think he has the full package to be the number one heel like a Bobby Roode has. Great physique, great talker, in-ring worker. Same thing with Austin Aries. Not as tall as a Roode, but great in-ring worker, confident as hell. Almas just needs somehow to put it all together, and he could be that foreign heel that everyone loves to hate. After the match, Almas was asked what to expect from him in 2017. He was talking in Spanish the whole time, but Corey Graves summed it up for us and said, first was Lorcan, next is Roderick Strong. Tom Phillips then talked about TakeOver Toronto, the tag match between DIY and the Revival, and we got highlights of that match as well. Phillips then had a sit-down interview with Shinsuke Nakamura about his upcoming match against Bobby Roode. He first talked about Samoa Joe. It was a tough match, and he's proud to be NXT champion. And then he said he likes Bobby Roode. He's one of the best in the world, good-looking, well-dressed, but he will not be NXT champion. Tom Phillips then pulled out a ticket from last year's TakeOver Dallas show that Bobby Roode apparently kept. Nakamura looked at it as they broke away from the interview. Speaking of TakeOver, I do like the San Antonio logo. It's got, I think, the Texas flag in the background, and then it's got like the bull like skull with the horns and everything. It's pretty cool. I like how they themed the TakeOver logo based around each show. But after the interview segment, we then got word that there will be a contract signing next week between Roode and Nakamura. That all led to the main event of DIY defending their tag team titles against the Revival. DIY were in control early, landing stereo dropkicks and sending Dash and Dawson to the outside. There were a couple commercials in the first part of the match, slowing the pace down a little bit, but they did pick it up after the second break. Revival were taking their turn on offense, working over Gargano's knee, the same thing that they did last year when they beat him in Brooklyn and almost beat him in Toronto. Ciampa finally got the hot tag and he took out Dawson. He landed a high knee in the corner and then multiple German suplexes. Revival got their turn back. They went for the heart attack, but Ciampa ducked, and this allowed Gargano to catch Dawson with a super kick. Gargano went for his through-the-rope spear, but Dawson caught him, and they went for the Shatter Machine, but Ciampa took out Dash. There was a lot going on, really hard to keep track. Just like in most of these matches, there was a lot of back-and-forth action. After some of the other counters, the Revival ended up in the middle of the ring. DIY were in the opposite corner setting up for their finisher. In a funny spot, the Revival were hugging each other, similar to what they held hands for the submission. DIY connected with their running kick and knee in the middle of the ring to retain their tag titles. Just as intense as some of their other matches, but it just didn't have the same drama, unfortunately, as their TakeOver matches had. Brooklyn, it was the first time that DIY got the chance at the tag titles, but Revival won by taking out Gargano's knee. Toronto, we were back at it again. Can they do it? Can DIY pin the Revival? And they did. And knowing that the winner faces Authors of Pain at TakeOver San Antonio, you know that the Revival aren't going to win and have that heel versus heel match. So it took away from a little bit from it, but the match itself was amazing. They didn't have the same time that they did at TakeOver, but they were able to pack in a lot and get the crowd going, just like they usually do. DIY, entertaining to watch, but the Revival have grown to be one of my favorite tag teams. Obviously, they're heel team, so I'm not going to like some of their stuff that they say, but in-ring, they're great. Their ingenuity, they're just so clever. Distracting the ref multiple times, the way that they tag in, because I think Dawson was up in a back suplex. He reached back and was able to tag in Dawson. And then their double team moves. I hate them, but I love watching them wrestle. After the match, though, DIY were celebrating. Then the Authors of Pain music hit. Paul Ellering walked out up front when the Authors of Pain attacked him from behind. They landed their double powerbomb spot, and then they added a second powerbomb to make a statement for them leading into TakeOver. However, that wasn't the end of the show. William Regal was shown in his office. He officially announced that the tag title match for TakeOver between DIY and Authors of Pain, which we knew that was going to happen, that the winner would face him, but I guess with DIY winning, that they made it official. And they also made the contract signing official, which we knew about earlier after the interview segment. A little weird, a little disjointed there, but after that, Asuka barged in. She said that she wants to match for TakeOver. William Regal said against who, and then she said all of them. So it looks like it'll be a 4-way match for the NXT Women's Championship. All we got for next week, though, is the contract signing, but TakeOver is, no pun intended, but taking shape, as we have Bobby Roode, Nakamura, DIY, Authors of Pain, and the 4-way between Asuka, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross. That last match should be a little interesting as far as the 4 women. We've seen Asuka go against the 2 Aussie women, but throwing Nikki Cross in there, she's more of a scrappy fighter, more of a brawler. It'll be an interesting dynamic mixed with these other 3. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch TakeOver San Antonio. I will be out celebrating a friend's birthday. I will do my best to watch it Sunday before the Royal Rumble, get something posted on my review. If not, I will add it into my NXT review for that week. But it looks like that card's taking shape. We might get Almas and Roderick Strong in the undercard, and maybe an Ember Moon or another match to round out the card to 5 or 6 matches like they usually have. All right, well, thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. Follow me on Twitter at @bpiv_sports. Rate, review, comment, like, do all that fun stuff on the shows on YouTube. And I'll be back next week with episode 96. Peace.